So it says when you put a yud before a word in the Hebrew word, it's masculine future.
Okay, nachon.
Masculine is going on chokhmah. Future is inside the yud is the gematria 10. It has all 10 sfirot. Chokhmah is looking to the future, as we just said. It's having mochin gadlut and seeing what is beyond the immediate, what I'm doing. This is the yud before. It's being able to look ahead and advance and not just live in exactly what's happening at this moment. When you put a yud at the end of the word, it makes it possessive. My belongs to me, right? This is the same idea, showing that wisdom ultimately belongs to who? To you. That it's within your capabilities to have the chokhmah to see beyond. So this yud that's playing in the Hebrew language is indicative of chokhmah and how it interplays in our lives. It's quite interesting. So it says the same idea referring to the infinite being, Hashem. Now, Hey is the numerical value of 5, alluding to the 5 fingers of the hand. So it says it represents understanding. The hand that holds wisdom, distributing and channeling it. Talking about Yud Hey. The 32 paths were engraved by Yud Hey, by God, but it's used Yud Hey instead of Havaya, which is Yud Hey Vav Hey. Yud is Chokhmah, Hey is Bina. So the Yud is 10, meaning it exists the potential in every idea, all 10 sfirot. Every idea has the potential to reach completion if it's seen through to the end. And the Hey is Gematria 5, right? Which means that your 5 fingers is the hand, showing that wisdom has to be channeled into something tangible, something real. It can't just remain as an idea floating above. It has to come into your hand, so to speak, where you're doing something with it. Otherwise, it's just an idea, as we said, that floats away. It's a seed that never goes into the ground and makes a tree, just thrown off. So that's the idea of this Yud and Hey connecting together. And now it says the Hey at the beginning of a word as a prefix. It is the definitive article that specifies and delineates an object. Like ha something, right? It's talking about the specific, right? Like I can't think of a word right now, but like
a book,
a sefer, right? It's referring to this one, not just the idea of a book, but this specifically, a sefer, this one. That's what it means as a definite article. This is going back to grammar for those I don't know if we remember from school. So it says, just like a hand, the definite article holds and specifies a concept that is specific rather than general, right? Hakos, meaning referring to this kos specifically. So this yud energy, this chokhmah energy, this potential has to be channeled to something specific. It can't just be a general idea, right? I have an idea. What am I going to do? How about want to be successful? What does that mean? Right? Like people say all the time, what's your goal? I want to be rich. I want to be skinny. I want to be smart. All right, well, that's not a goal. That's a general concept. It has to be channeled into a vessel. And that's the Hey. This thing. The Yud and the Hey have to interplay together. That huge potential in that Yud with 10 sfirot in it has to enter into a specific physical direction. Otherwise, it's just a concept. It's just a thought. I want to be a better parent. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better friend. But how do you define what that means, right? You want something to be improved in your life. What? Goals, the more specific they are, first of all, you got to write them down, right? That's why we have a Torah. It's written. It's something tangible. It has to be specific. It has to be written down. The more detailed, it's like what a story. Like anytime you read a good book or a good story, imagine if there's no details. And it's just like the boy talked to the girl. They went to the store. I was like, every little detail. Yes, you're giving the Hey, the 5 fingers. Yes.
Something I've been learning from people is, let's say I want to accomplish something, and I'm not doing it. And let's say first, I could find a specific goal of what I want to do. It could be something, even a way I want to feel about myself, let's say. And then, so why am I not doing it? There's usually a belief that I have about myself that limits me from being able to then accomplish that. So it's like, okay, I can identify the goal that I want, then now I go and identify the belief that's holding me back, and once you do that, it's like, okay, now things become so clear, like, oh, obviously I can't accomplish this because this is what I believe about the situation. Like, you know, and with that, I want this job, but secretly I believe that I don't deserve more money, or I'm not good enough, whatever. And then you
it's not going to work out. I'm going to
I'm gonna
get fired, whatever the case may be.
And then you decide, oh, okay, now I see this. Do I want to hold on to this belief anymore? You know, or do I want to throw it in the garbage? You
Right.
know? And then you can figure out a way to let that go.
Sure.
And then, yeah.
No, it's
How to specify.
Yeah, and see what's actually going on
Yeah, right.
instead
Sure.
of just like, oh, everything's so overwhelming
Yeah.
and
Sure. I remember when I was from Rav Arad. It was one of my wife's teachers, a very well-known chassid in Israel, has tremendous teachings, and he has a whole coaching system based on the Sefer Yetzirah, based on what we're learning right now. It's an unbelievable, complex system of individual coaching. And I was working with one of his coaches, and I remember I had a problem with guilt. That was like something that was like, I think every Jew does, right? That's like in our DNA, right? We have this guilt. And he's like, what is the guilt doing for you? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what I don't understand it.
It's always serving something.
He's like, what is the guilt doing? I'm like, what do you mean? I feel guilty. He's like, no, but what is it doing for you? I couldn't grasp it in my brain to get to the point that if I feel guilty about it, it's my way of saying, oh, I'm not doing it. But if I eat my kishkas out and I feel guilty about it, at least I feel like I have some level of, oh, I care enough, or I'm not a bad person, you see, because I feel guilty about it. If I didn't feel guilty, then I would be a jerk. I was like, how could that not bother you?
Yeah.
So, but it's a self-defeating behavior mechanism.
And I think that a lot of the way we live our life is just or we're being run by like the little kid inside of us that's just trying to stay safe and like
Sure.
learn certain ways of living, and those ways of living kept you safe at that time, but life is different now, and you need to see
That's
like
it.
what am I doing that is not serving me anymore. And it's usually like you're not trying to be bad and have a bad life.
Sure.
But you're just like stuck in these, you know.
Yes.
And it's always somehow like even things that look like it's obviously hurting you, it's somehow also some part of you feels like it's helping.
Yeah. There's a very sick, deranged enjoyment of being depressed.
For sure.
Like,
for sure.
it's like self-loathing. Like you like, and it's hard to explain because it doesn't make logical sense so much. But like you get into a funk, and it's like you like enjoy like in a sick way of being sick, of not being well. And a lot of this is reprogramming that false voice, that false message, right? It's as a child, the ego is a very important thing. If I don't cry, my parents don't know I pooped my pants. They don't know if I'm hungry. But as you start getting older, that ego starts becoming a defeating mechanism because it's stopping you from doing what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's part of the navigation is to realize what is preventing me from doing these things. But it really, there's a saying, lahavdil, that the devil's in the details. Meaning that in any aspect of any creation, it really comes down to the minutia of things. And it's really about being able to hyper-focus. I'll just use business because it's just a very easy muscle to connect to life. There's a saying. I was in a big seminar one time of marketing, and the guy taught us. He said the riches are in the niches. A niche is a unique aspect that you provide, and
What's niches?
a niche is something like a niche, or a niche is like
That was niche.
niche. Yeah,
Or is it?
niche is the proper way of saying it. So niche
Okay.
is like a kind of slang, but niche like riches and niches. What? So potato. But the idea is that it's like the when you fine tune the details, it's like I had a friend who was a businessman, and it was like some random thing he like figured out, like that motorhomes, like the little like mechanism conductors for certain type of electricity in motorhomes, like found a way to split the conductor into like a couple more parts and started making like millions and millions of dollars by uncovering like a little detail that was overseen.
Right, like everyone, let's say everybody sells, so many people sell this type of picture, but you figure out that you figured out that you need to have this little triangle here and it makes it pour better.
Right.
So now you stand out
Correct.
from all the other people.
Hi, I'm
and
sorry, I'm
that's
showing me to
the
get. I
niche.
can't hug you. But how are you? I'm just kidding. How are you? You can come around. You can come around. So no, right. So in business, like we have developed a niche, whatever, in our area, where we have a very, very specific area of law we practice, and we're the only firms who do it. And we've developed a reputation for it, and now people come to us for this specific area. So it's the same thing in life. The more detailed, and this is experience, this is over time, our goals can be more specific, more delineated, right? Again, like, everyone starts out the beginning of the year and says, my goal is to become skinny. Someone weighs 400 pounds, they say, I want to become skinny. And there's no plan, there's no structure, there's no steps, there's no stages, there's no daily, weekly accounting of calories and what you have. So when it stays in this kind of big, just idea, it usually doesn't go anywhere. When it becomes more specific, as we said, all right, and I've given this example before, someone wants to lose 100 pounds over a year, say, okay, so what is that? That's 8 pounds a month. That's 2 pounds a week. What's my caloric intake? How do I get it down from 12,000 calories to 4,000 calories a day? I got to exercise 30 minutes a day. I got to cut out this amount of food. I got to change my diet to this. Those are actual detailed steps that are going to get you where you need to go. How are you? But if it just stays in this general idea, it doesn't go anywhere. So it's a very fascinating thing that he's bringing out in the Sefer Yetzirah right now, that this Yud and the Hey, how they come together, right? So the Yud is the potential. It's the 10 Sfirot that are baked into this little tiny dot, this seed. But if that potential doesn't go into something and grow, which is the Hey, which is the 5 fingers of the hand, which represents a plan, something physical, it doesn't exist. And that's why the Yud and the Hey have to come together. That's why masculine and feminine energy need to coexist. Judaism is the only religion in the world that our whole entire objective is not to go to heaven. It's not about spirituality. It's about infusing spiritual and physical, masculine and feminine energy. It's about this physical world. Everything has to manifest into this physical world. Every masculine energy has to have a feminine energy to it. Every woman has a masculine energy. Every man has a feminine energy. I speak about this a lot. It's very obvious to me why there's all this sickness right now with this transgender and all this confusion in gender identity, because God is bringing us to a state of repair where the masculine and feminine energy are coexisting together as one, and it's coming together inside of us. And someone who is not familiar with that energy and all of a sudden starts feeling a little female energy right away, maybe I'm supposed to be a woman. No, you're supposed to balance your masculine energy and your feminine energy. And every woman has their masculine energy and feminine energy as well. So it's really getting these two opposite energies to coexist. Physical and spiritual are opposite energies, but God controls both of them. They're both creations. Right? Spiritual isn't any more godly than physical. In fact, it says when Mashiach comes, our physical bodies will give life to our souls. In other words, our bodies will be holier than our souls.
But isn't